we have you on today because we're focusing primarily between now and November on all the midterms,
Hmm.
especially states like Illinois that everyone's talking about.
Hmm.
You know, the Pritzker name is synonymous with Illinois, right?
Sadly.
I told you this before we got started. I was born in Illinois, and I'm going to make a bold statement here. I'm going to say that you are 10 years away. Chicago is from being the next San Francisco. That's how corrupt the political system is
Hmm.
in the
That's
state.
that's the that's the huge risk. That's what I'm trying to stop.
How are you going to stop it? How?
We tell the truth. We tell the truth. We show people that, for the longest time, we've had Chicago run by Democrats for over 100 years, right at 100 years.
Oh yeah.
Look at they haven't had a Republican in 100 years. Give Republicans a chance because look at the mess. And today, Chicago got downgraded. Its credit rating got downgraded. It's a real mess. We've led the country in murders, total murders, for 14 years in a row. We can do so much better, but we have to change leadership.
Okay, you're going up against a beast. I mean, he has so much support. He's an incumbent. How are you going to do this?
Well, he's been a beast. He's spent, gosh, over close to, what is it, close to $400 million on the last two campaigns. But you know what? He got less than 55% of the vote, despite spending all that, and despite the candidate he went against not being a good viable candidate in Cook County and the suburbs. And so Pritzker is now extreme. I think there's a lot of centrist, let's call them Democrats, centrist, maybe some common sense Democrats. You've had the black population go crazy over Pritzker's support of illegal immigrants, and everybody's seen all that in the press. So there's a lot of black population unhappy with Pritzker. Latinos don't like all that DEI in their schools. They're family oriented. They're faith driven. Pritzker's the opposite of them. So you pick up a chunk of them, and then there's a whole bunch of moms, I think, throughout the suburbs who've seen their parental rights taken away. Like they've lost parental notification over their kid having an abortion. Um, Parents can't find out that their kids are transing in schools. This is crazy, extreme stuff. You got boys and girls sports in Illinois. It's extreme. And I think there's enough people we can coalesce a coalition of Latinos, of blacks, of the conservatives, and the centrists. Take out Pritzker, get him out. And then we
Okay,
go after
so
then we go after Johnson in the mayor election.
what I'm hearing, oh, that's a whole nother conversation, is that you're really targeting that centrist Democrat. And I'm going to put up a full screen. You and I were talking. I've got 3 kids. I got hit with the flu. You can hear it. My producer, who you can't see, who's on this call, same thing. So she got hit with the flu last week. And she went and just got some basic items from the store. She lives in Chicago. She's a young woman. And then she compared the same prices to another state.
Hmm.
She simply was paying,
Wow, look at that.
look at that, in Ohio. So I think it was 110 to $64.
Right.
These are basic. These are nothing crazy. Cold medicine, soup. So simply the cost of living.
Yeah.
So people are going to move out. Am I right?
Oh, well, they're not going to move out. They've been moving out. Illinois is one of 3 states in the country to shrink from 2010 to 2020. 3 states shrunk. It was West Virginia, Mississippi, and Illinois. So instead of growing like Texas and like Florida and Tennessee and Carolina, we're shrinking in Illinois. And that's one of the big reasons. It's too expensive to live here. Governor Pritzker doubled the motor fuel tax, which now we have the 3rd highest gas taxes in the country. We look like New York and California in terms of gas prices when we should be a Midwest state. And
So
it's all the
is that
property
also why
taxes.
people are saying that they want to secede, that they want to become Indiana residents?
Yeah, you've got 33 counties. There's 102 counties. There's 33 counties in Illinois, and there's others who will vote in the same direction. They want to secede or join Indiana. Well, they want to just create a new Illinois. They don't necessarily want to join
Sure.
Indiana, but Indiana's smart and saying, "Hey, we'll take you." And now Iowa's saying, "Hey, we'll take you too." I mean, this is how bad it's gotten.
When we talk about hitting families, that's really the backbone, right? We're talking the Midwest. We talked about raising our family there. The goal is to get them to move. But when you have, like you mentioned, the taxes, the gas tax, it's almost as if you had the most appealing state and now you don't have that. So where
Mhm.
is the disconnect? For me, from an outsider, I think to myself, how could this administration stay in power?
Well, the problem is that they've gerrymandered everything. The extremists control. They dominate the media. Pritzker's a billionaire, so he can buy the messaging from the newspapers and the media and the press. And so they've got this control. Same thing at the state legislature. And so the reason I'm running is because I want to expose the heck of the truth, just get the truth out there and say, hey, if we have the highest property taxes in the country, if you want lower property taxes, you have to vote those guys out. Third highest gas taxes. If you want lower gas taxes, you have to vote those guys out. We have to tell the truth about the data. I'm pretty good at that. I'm an ex-finance guy. I want to expose. DOGE is, I think, the right word. We have to expose what's happening, and then, bring people over to say, hey, give us a chance because 100 years with Democrat control Chicago changed that.
Well, and I've heard in some of your interviews you said, listen, other states are simply doing better than we are. And I think my question to you is then who do you want to mimic? What states are you admiring where you feel like they're business friendly, affordable, they're taking on the housing crisis? Because we could go on about that, right? We could
Yeah.
talk about private equity just buying up homes and just
Mm-hmm.
stealing the American dream. It's happening
Yeah.
right there all over the state.
Sure. Yeah, no, look, I always look at where population is growing. Where's the investment growing? And right now, they're the ones who have just dominated Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Carolina. But you have a whole bunch of
Yep.
states. But right next door, Indiana is doing amazing. Right, 25 years ago, you ask people from Illinois, "Do you want to move to Indiana?" They say, "Heck no." Now, Indiana's stealing lots of our people, and it's because they have
They might
much
be
lower.
stealing your football team.
And they
Hey,
might
you know
steal our
what?
bear. Well, and there you go. When they can steal the iconic Bears, when Governor Pritzker be so bad, and Brandon Johnson they can be so bad that the Bears leave Chicago, then it's time for change. And that's why I'm saying this place is extreme now, and the common sense conservative positions now can work. And Indiana's showing us that. A guy like Mitch Daniels, just a good old guy, nothing flashy, but just competent. Look what he's done for Indiana now, and here you are, 25 years later, they're kicking our butts.
I mean, my mother has dementia, but if I were to tell her that Indiana what might be stealing the Bears, listen, the Bears is it's a private company. They can be bought and sold, but you cannot buy a Bears fan. I'm going to tell you that is you better watch out for some of those Chicago fans.
Yeah, and well, and if it was just the Bears, I'll tell you. See, this is the real measure. It's not the Bears. I don't think would ever leave a great Illinois, a great Chicago. If we were thriving, if we were growing, if we were taking care of our businesses and our people, the Bears would never leave. But here's what's happened, right? Caterpillar, right? This amazing company from Illinois,
Yeah.
headquartered. Their headquarters actually left Illinois. Boeing had headquarters here. They left. Ken Griffin and Citadel, right?
Yep.
Huge company here in Illinois with the taxes they paid, now in Florida. And this is what we're doing. We're chasing away companies that are amazing. And that's why Pritzker has to go. He doesn't know how to manage this thing, or I should say it differently. His social justice agenda and that of Brandon Johnson don't work for a Midwest state like Illinois. And that's why people are leaving. We have to take it back.
Okay, so the goal is to make obviously Illinois affordable again.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I would say education. That's a big issue. We
Wow,
talk to parents across the country. Talk to me about your plan, because this administration is obviously dismantling the Department of Education. That means it's up to the states, which
yep.
means you need to have robust plans statewide to support these kids. They're not even reading.
If you know anything about my work, if you were to Google Ted Dabrowski in education, you'll see that I've been one of the champions for literacy here. Our reading levels have collapsed, and if you look at some of the inner city towns, like if you look at Decatur, Illinois, Peoria, Rockford, the Black children reading at grade level is somewhere around 5%, 7%, 10%. Most of them, 90%, can't read at grade level anymore. We're not teaching our kids to read anymore, and so that's my obsession. The first thing we have to do is bring school choice to Illinois. You've got massive universal school choice wave going across the country in Iowa, Indiana, of course, Ohio. I can go on and on. We killed school choice. I shouldn't say we. Governor Pritzker and his Democratic supermajorities killed school choice 2 years ago. The only state in the country to kill a major program. It's crazy. So I want to bring back school choice. We need universal school choice here. And then we need to focus on our public schools as well, because we have to have massive changes there.
Well, and I think people forget that literacy rate is directly correlated with incarceration rates. So it's a taxpayer issue. Like, if you're not going to care about kids' literacy, then you should care about whether or not your jails are getting filled up, because they're at capacity. I
Well,
think people forget that.
and not just that, but dependency too. And so I say this is that, if your kids can't read, you can't have a republic, right? There's just no way you can have a republic. Two, can't have a workforce. Places like Decatur, Illinois, these are traditional blue class successful cities. If their kids can't read, then they can't have a workforce. And then, of course, they're all going to be dependent. And like you just said, a certain share of them are going to be on crime. So it's a huge failure. What I want to do is steal from Florida and now Mississippi. Don't let a kid go to fourth grade if he or she can't read in third grade. And the reason I say that it sounds punitive or something, but it's not. It says, hey, you need to be accountable. If your kid can't read in third grade, focus like crazy. Get the unions, get the teachers, get the parents, get the corporations and the volunteers, and obsess about reading, because nothing else matters if your kids can't read.
You don't think that the teachers union has just gotten out of control, do you?
Our biggest trouble in Illinois is that, there's no more militant, aggressive, nasty union than the Chicago Teachers Union. They have destroyed
Wow.
education. They're behind destroying the city. And of course, Mayor Johnson is Chicago Teachers Union. They actually took over not just the city, sorry, not just the schools. They took over the city by putting him as mayor. So it's a huge problem. We need to get him out as well.
Okay, so let's say we see you in the governor's mansion come November.
Hmm.
What's first? What? Because that's a lot. I mean, honestly, my head's kind of spinning here
Yeah.
because you're talking corruption. We're talking about the taxes. We're talking about education. We're talking about counties looking to secede or become unincorporated. I don't even know where to begin.
I,
How do you begin to chip away at
I,
this?
I've started to joke that my platform is this: do the exact opposite of Pritzker, right? It's that simple. Whatever he does, we do the opposite. I know. I start with. I tell you, there's a lot to this issue. Number one, biggest issue for everybody is they can't afford to live here. So we're seeing people move, whether you're in Southern Illinois, Central Illinois, or in Chicago. On the west side of Chicago, they were burning their property tax bills just a couple months ago because they doubled. People's property taxes doubled. It's crazy. So first thing I do is expose where the money is going, because until we know where all the money's going and what needs to be cut, we can't fix the problem. So I will implement a massive DOGE type effort to show everybody where their money's going, protect the people. And then after that, it's opportunity and jobs. If you don't create jobs, guess what? They're going right to Indiana, they're going to Missouri, they're going to Texas, Tennessee. We're losing all our people right now, and we lose our taxpayers, right? We end up picking up illegal immigrants because of Pritzker's immigration welcoming policies, and we're losing big taxpayers like a Ken Griffin and everyday Illinois who make 150, 200 grand.
Oh
So
yeah.
jobs is the next thing, and then of course I mentioned schools. I'm a passionate fighter for literacy.
Wow. Okay, so also attracting along with that, and you touched on it, but attracting businesses back,
Yeah, well, businesses aren't good.
attracting the manufacturers back.
Right, they're not going to come to a state that's
No.
shrinking in population. You go to where the people are going. So yeah, that's the big thing, is to show them that we're going to make the changes that make business, make it attractive for businesses, but attractive for people. If it's not attractive for people, why would you put your business here?
What has been most surprising for you on the campaign trail? Because you need a lot of energy to be out there talking to folks all
Hmm.
day, every day. What has surprised you the most?
Surprised me the most. I'll tell you two things that are really. I'll tell you a very positive one, um, and how faithful people are.
Yeah.
You're in the Chicago area, so it's a little harder to feel. But once you start traveling to Central Illinois and Southern Illinois, the faith that underlies their conservative values, it's amazing how powerful. It's yeah, it makes me feel like, gosh, it's great to be American. That's number one. I think the other part though is just how okay, there's a whole bunch of people who want to fight. They don't
Mhm.
want to leave. And you've seen a lot of people leave, as I mentioned, but the ones who stay here say, "This is our Illinois. We want to stay." This is that whole group of secessionists. They're saying, "I don't want to be chased out of my home. I'm staying right here. If I need to secede to keep my home, then I'll do that." And the power for the pushback is strong. That's why I'm running. I think there's enough people who said enough is enough with this extremism. We just got to we got to bring them together, and that's the harder part.
What what was your biggest determining reason to run? What set you over the edge where you say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this on. I'm
Yeah.
going to go up
So
against the
yeah,
Pritzkers.
well, I tell the story, and I'll do the brief version of it because it's a little longer. So I went down to Decatur, Illinois, and I was researching this lack of literacy, and I didn't know how bad it was. And so I went down there and I found that only 2% of the black third graders in Decatur, Illinois were reading at grade level. 98% weren't. So I did a big report, about Peoria, Decatur. I just exposed it, and I couldn't believe that nobody was talking about this. So I did the report. The Wall Street Journal picked up our report, and they did their lead editorial on that. And they hit Illinois hard, saying Illinois' shocking report card. Their kids can't read and they're covering it up, meaning these high fake graduation rates and fake accountability stuff that the education system puts out. So anyway, the story is that there was a debate 4 years ago in which Pritzker was in, and the moderator asked Pritzker about that Wall Street Journal report. And Pritzker, instead of being empathetic about these kids that can't read, he kind of just went back on his heel. He called me, Wirepoint's the group I was in, that we were right-wing carnival barker organization that wasn't telling the truth. They said, they're wrong. It's just wrong. And it was his own data that we used, his own State Board of Education data. And when he threw 8,000 Decatur kids under the bus, when he lied to the people of Illinois, I said, that's it. That guy cannot be governor anymore. He keeps lying to the people of Illinois. Time to get change. And I decided to run.
How did your family take it? Because it's running for politics is dangerous, dare I say now.
Yeah, this is Illinois. You have to be careful. This is something I have to think about. But if we don't speak up, if we don't stand up, if we let them quiet us, if we let them shut us down, and you got to remember COVID period, right? He shut down this state for over 3 years. He ran it on emergency orders. He wanted to shut us down, put us in masks, closed our schools, closed our churches, wouldn't reopen them. It was a big battle. We have to speak up. We have to fight back.
Okay, so before I let you go, kind of give me your blue sky. You're in the governor's mansion. What's next for the state of Illinois?
Oh, I think it's a 4-year campaign.
Yeah.
Nothing will be
Yeah.
easy because it's gerrymandered. So they have super majorities in the Democrats. So I have to do a 4-year campaign of winning over people with persuasion, with logic. And I use data a lot because the data's on our side. I mean, this lack of kids reading, the highest property taxes in the country, the highest murders in the country, all that stuff. If I can use the bully pulpit well, get it out there, persuade people over and over again until we change the legislature, we gain power and start to make better laws. But I do believe that this is an amazing state. Look, Illinois is smack in the middle of the country. It's why it's a great state. The infrastructure, the lake, the land, the universities. We've got everything to be that top 5 state. And I refuse to let Pritzker and the Democrats keep us down at the bottom 5. We have to take it back.
Term limits, yes or no?
Term limits, yes. I personally love voting as the term limits, but it's so gerrymandered here. If Pritzker wasn't, if we had term limits, Pritzker wouldn't be able to run a 3rd term. But so we have to do term limits the old-fashioned way right now.
Well, Ted, fascinating. I've really enjoyed speaking with you.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Keep us posted ahead of the primaries, and good luck to you. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you so much, and good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
All the best.